So hi and hello there, welcome to the new video of the course, and in this particular video we are going to see how to perform subtraction operation in case of binary number system. Okay, so first of all we will see the basic operation or the basic subtraction of certain numbers. Okay, since we are dealing with binary number system, so this over here I had directly shown the binary number system, binary numbers, that is 0 minus 0 is 0, 1 minus 0 is 1, 1 minus 1 is any which way it is 0, but 0 minus of 1 it is 1, that means the difference is 1, but we need to borrow 1 from the next column. This I will explain when we will solve certain numerical, so you don't worry about this particular part. I just need to explain this particular part. Okay, so basically what I want to convey is this only, that means whatever we had done when we were actually focusing on the addition of the binary number. So what we did, we actually compare the decimal and the binary number system, while by performing certain addition operation, right? So this is what we are doing over here. Okay, but I had not shown the decimal number system over here. How we actually add in the decimal number system. Okay, I directly shown the binary subtraction in the binary number system. Okay, but don't worry, we will see this particular part when we are actually solving certain numerical based on this. Okay, alright, so let me move further. Alright, so what we'll do, we will first perform certain subtraction operation in the decimal number system. That means what, we will solve this particular numericals traditionally. But traditionally what I mean to say is that the way you used to solve the subtraction operation in your school days. Okay, if you could remember, let's suppose if I want to subtract 5 from 19, or if I want to subtract 19 minus of 5, if I want to perform this particular operation, then how I used to subtract this particular number. So what I used to do, I used to see this particular column, and then I used to subtract 5 from 9. What is 9 minus of 5? We all know 9 minus of 5 is 4, and this is 0. If there isn't any number present before this particular digit, so obviously we used to take it as 0, and then we used to perform the subtraction operation in this particular column, that is 1 minus of 0, it is 1. So what is 19 minus of 5? 19 minus of 5, it is 14. Okay, so this is how we used to perform subtraction operation. Okay, so we will try to do this subtraction of these two particular numerical in that particular way as well, in that particular way only. Okay, and now you'll ask me, sir, why we are actually solving the subtraction in the decimal number system, why we are not jumping to the binary number system? My dear student, there is one reason for it. There is one big reason for it, that why I am performing the subtraction operation in the with the traditional method. Okay, once if we are able to perform the subtraction operation in the traditional method, then it would be quite easy for you to apply the same logic when we will perform the subtraction operation in case of binary number system. Okay, so with that particular idea, we will start the subtraction operation in the decimal number system with the traditional method. Alright, so you can clearly see the very first numerical, it is 30 minus of 21, and we all know its answer is 9, right? We all know its answer is 9. But let's assume if you are in your first standard of your school, or maybe if you are just 4 to 5 years of kid, so how you are going to solve this particular numerical? So it's quite simple. What you will do, you will just take this particular column, and then you will try to subtract this particular number. Okay, so obviously we cannot subtract 0 from 1. We all know we cannot subtract this particular number. That means, we cannot subtract 1 from 0. If you could remember, we cannot subtract 1 from 0. So what we used to do in our school days, we used to take one borrow. So if this was 0, we used to make it as 10. That means what, we are actually borrowing one number from this particular column, okay, from this particular digit, and over here it is 3, so we used to make it as 2, if you could remember. Okay, so what is 10 minus of 1? 10 minus of 1 is 9, and what is 2 minus of 2? 2 minus 2 is 0, so any which ways the answer would be 9 only. Okay, I hope you know how to solve this kind of numericals. Okay, again I will repeat this particular part because this is one of the most important part. Okay, whenever you are dealing with the decimal number system, specifically if you are dealing with the subtraction operation. Okay, I will again repeat this particular part. See, earlier the number was 0 and this was 1, so you cannot subtract this particular number. You cannot subtract 1 from 0. So what you did, you just cancel this number. You can just cancel this 0, and what you did, you just borrowed one number from this particular digit, right? So instead of 0, you will get 10. Okay, and since you borrowed one number from this particular digit, so this number would be getting reduced by 1. So what will happen, since it is getting reduced by 1, so instead of 3, you are bound to write over here as 2. So what is 2 minus 2? 2 minus 2 is 0, And what is 10 minus of 1? 10 minus of 1 is 9. Okay, so this is how we used to perform subtraction operation in case of decimal number system, right? Great. So now what we will do, we will perform subtraction operation on this particular number. What is 1000 minus of 99? We all know its answer would be 901. But how we are going to solve the traditional method, right? So this is what we need to see. Alright, so obviously we cannot subtract 9 from 0. Okay, we cannot perform this particular operation, so we will straight away make it as 10. Okay, we'll straight away make it as 10. Again, over here the number is 9, so we cannot subtract 9 from 10, 9 from 0, so we need to make it as 10. That means what, we are borrowing certain number from this particular column, right, or from this particular digit. But over here as well we have the number as 0, so we will make it as 10. And now we will borrow one number from this particular digit, that is 1. What we'll do, since we are borrowing one number from this particular digit, so that's why we will make it as 0. Okay, I hope you know how to solve this particular calculation. It's quite simple. Okay, and you had all done this in your school days, right? So what actually is happening over here is that, see, now since this particular 0, it borrowed one number from this particular digit, so this would be 10, right? But now this particular column, it is dependent on this particular 0. Why? Because it is also borrowing one number from this particular 0. I hope you are getting this particular point. So what is going to happen eventually is that, see, this 10 would be reduced to 9. Sorry, this 10 would be reduced to 9. So over here you will get the number as 9. I hope you are getting this particular point. See, I'm repeating this particular concept again. See, what exactly happened in this particular scenario was, see, this number, this digit was 1, okay, but this particular 0, it was dependent on this particular 1, okay. So what is going to happen? It is going to borrow one number from this particular digit, so it became 10, right? But then what was happening was that this particular 0 or this particular digit, it was also dependent on this particular number, so it actually gave one digit to this particular number. I hope you are getting this particular point. Okay, I hope you are getting this particular point. So therefore, since it is borrowing one number from 10, so it will become 9. Okay, since it is borrowing this particular number, it is borrowing one number from this particular 10, so it will become 9. Great. So let me erase this particular part. Alright, and now if you could remember what is happening over here, this particular 0, it is borrowing one number from this particular 0, right? So instead of 10, this would be 9. This would be 9. This would be 9. Okay, I hope you all are very much familiar with this particular operation. Again, I am repeating this particular concept. I know it will sound little difficult for you. Some of you all guys might have forgot this particular concept which you had studied in your school days. Why? Because you now in the today's world you are directly using the calculators, right? So it might happen. It's absolutely fine. But from my side, I am trying my level best to explain you this particular concept. See, the number was 1000 minus of 99. So the moment you saw 0, you are bound to make it as 10. Okay. And how you are able to make this particular 0 as 10? By borrowing one number from the next column, right? But in the next column we have 0, right? So as I told to you, the moment you saw this particular 0, you have to make it as 10. Over here as well, you have to make it as 10. Okay, so I'll again let me erase all of the thing. I'll again explain you this particular point, because this particular point you need to you need to understand this particular concept in depth. See, this was 0, so you should make it as 10. Even this was 0, so you should make it as 10. Even this was 0, you need to make it as 10, right? And all of these numbers, they are dependent on each other. See how you are able to make this 0 as 10? By borrowing one number from this particular 0. By borrowing one number from this particular 0. Okay, and if you ask me that how exactly this 0 become 10, by borrowing one number from this particular digit. Okay, by borrowing one number from this particular digit. And how you are able to make this 0 as 10? By borrowing one number from this particular 0. Okay, but you can clearly see that this particular 0, it is dependent on this one. This particular 0, it is dependent on this 0, and this particular 0, it was dependent on this particular 1. Okay, so over here this 1 would become 0. Okay, and see, now come at this particular 0. This particular 0, it will become 10 by borrowing one digit from this particular 10. Okay, see, this particular 0, it will become 10 by borrowing one digit from this particular 10. Okay, So since it is borrowing one digit from this particular 10, so it will become 9. It will become 9. Okay. Now come at this particular 0. How it is able to make itself as 10? By borrowing one number from this particular 10. By borrowing one number from this particular 10, that means what? The moment it borrows one number from this particular 10, it will become 9. It will become 9, and this 10 will remain as it is. I hope you are getting this particular point. I hope you are getting this particular point. See what is exactly happening. This this particular 0 is becoming 10 by borrowing one digit from the previous from the previous column, and in the previous column we have 10. Okay, how it become 10? By borrowing one digit from the previous column. In the previous column we have 10. Okay, and how exactly it became 10? By borrowing one number or one digit from the previous column. So the previous column was 1, so this 1 will become 0 eventually. Okay, I hope you are getting this particular point. So now we need to perform the subtraction operation. Okay, that what is 10 minus of 9? Oh, sorry. Yeah, what is 10 minus of 9? So 10 minus of 9 is 1. Great. What is 9 minus of 9? So 9 minus of 9, it is 0. Great. And this 9 will remain as it is, or it will come down, and this would be 0. So the answer would be 901. So this is what we wanted, right? If you could remember. Now you can actually put this number in the calculator, and you will check. If you will check the value, you will get the same answer. Okay. But I hope you also understood how to perform the subtraction operation with the traditional method, right? Great. Now we will move to the binary number system, and over there as well the concept will remain same. We'll see that particular part. Let me go there. Alright. So we will start with the very first numerical, that is 100 minus of 01. So let me write over here. We are dealing with the binary number system. Just a second. We are dealing with binary number system. Let me move it little above. Binary number system. Okay. Binary number system. Binary number system. Okay. Binary number system. Alright. So over here you can clearly see we will go column by column. As I said to you, we are going to apply the same logic what we used to do in case of decimal. Okay, so we will subtract the number column by column. Okay, we'll subtract the number column by column. Okay, and if nothing is present over here, that means over here you should write 0. Over here you should write 0. Great. Alright. So first of all we will try to take its decimal equivalent. So what is decimal equivalent of 100? 100, and this is 2 raised to 0, 2 raised to 1, 2 raised to 2. So its decimal equivalent is, oh sorry, this is 2 raised to 2. Just a second. Its decimal equivalent is 2 raised to 2. So 2 raised to 2 into 1, it is 4. So the decimal equivalent of this particular number is 4. So the decimal equivalent of this particular number is 4. And on the similar note, if I want to calculate the decimal equivalent of this particular number, that is 001. So it is 2 raised to 0 into 1, which is 1 only. So what is 4 minus of 1? So if I want to perform this subtraction operation, it is 3, right? So over here, whatever the binary number we will be getting, it would be 0 1 1. It is 2 raised to 1, and yeah, it is so. So this is the binary number we should be able to obtain over here by performing the subtraction operation. Okay, so let's check how to perform subtraction operation in the case of binary number system. All right. So you can clearly see we cannot subtract 1 from 0. So over here we need to make this particular 0 as 2. And now I know you will scratch your heads, and now you'll ask me the question like, sir, over here in case of decimal number system we used to write 10 in when we used to cancel 0, right? But over here you are telling that by cancelling 0 we should write 2. What is the reason behind that? The reason is quite simpler, because we are dealing with binary number system, and in binary number system we just have two numbers, that is 0 and 1, right? So that's why we are writing 2 over here. And in case of decimal number system we have number from 0 1 2 all the way till 9. So these are the 10 different or 10 unique numbers, right? So that's why instead of 0 we were replacing 0 with 10. Okay, I hope you are getting this particular point, my dear student. Okay, and over here since we are dealing with binary number system, so we just have two numbers, so that's why we are replacing 0 with 2. Okay, we cannot subtract 0 from 1, I mean 1 from 0. So that's why we are actually replacing this particular 0 with 2. I hope you are getting this particular point. Why 2? Because we are dealing with binary number system. Okay, all right. So now how it became 2? By borrowing one number from this particular digit, right? So this should be 2 again. Why? Because I'll explain you this particular point. Why? Because now see, now this particular number, see, this particular 0, obviously you cannot borrow any number, from 0 because it is already 0, right? And you cannot write negative numbers in the binary numbers, I mean in case of digital electronics, right? So this would be 2. Okay, I hope you are getting this particular point. And why it would be 2? Because it will borrow one number from this particular one. This would be 0. Okay, just a second, let me again explain you this particular part. Alright, see, the moment you cancel this 0, you are bound to write 2. Again, as I told you, even in case of decimal number system, I told you that the moment you cancel the 0, you should write 10. So on the similar note over here, the moment you cancel 0, you should write 2. Okay, and why you are writing 2? Because you are borrowing one number from this particular one, so this would be 0. Okay, so that's why you made it 2. And now you'll ask me, sir, why this particular number would be 2? Why we are actually writing it as 2? Because you are borrowing one number from this particular 2. See this one, so you should make it as 1. See, the concept is same. What we did over here, we were actually borrowing this particular number from this particular digit, so that's why we actually cancelled this 10 and we made it 9. Over here as well, if you could look very clearly, what we did, the number was 2, right? But since it was borrowing one number from this particular digit, so it became 1. So now if you try to subtract this particular number, so this would be 2 minus of 1, this would be 1. Great. 1 minus of 0 would be 1, and 0 minus of 0 would be 1. So this is what we got, and you can clearly see this is what we wanted, or this is what we actually found when we actually performed the when we actually converted the binary numbers to its decimal equivalent, and then we performed the subtraction operation, right? Great. Alright, so now we will perform the subtraction operation in the second numerical. So the numerical is 1100 minus of 0011. So it's my request to you, please try to find out its decimal equivalent, try to subtract it in the decimal equivalent form, okay, and try to take out its binary equivalent. So whatever the binary number that we would be getting over here, try to match that with that of what you would be doing in your calculation. Okay, so I'm not performing this particular operation over here in this particular with this particular numbers. Okay, that will simply waste our time, because I hope that now you are very much familiar that how to calculate or how to convert a binary to decimal to binary and all. Okay, alright, so see how I'm going to perform this particular operation. See, first of all, the moment you saw this 0, and since you are in binary number system, you should make it as 2. Again, this 0 you should make it as 2. And why you are making it 2? Because you can clearly see that this particular numbers, they are greater than this particular number. Okay, you cannot subtract 1 from 0. Over here as well, you cannot subtract 1 from 0. So that's why you are making 0 as 2. Okay, and how you made this particular 0 as 2? By borrowing one number from this particular 0. So that's why we'll decrease this particular 1 by 1. Okay, we will reduce this particular digit by 1. That means, what is, if this is 1, so you should make it as 0. Okay, we are reducing it by 1. Okay, I hope you are getting this particular point. And since we are reducing it by 1, so basically we are performing the borrowing operation. We borrowed this particular one digit over here. Okay, we borrowed this particular one digit from this particular one. Alright, now listen to this particular part very, very carefully. How exactly we made this particular 0 as 2? By borrowing one digit from this particular 2, and the moment I say that we are borrowing one digit from this particular 2, so we should make this particular 2 as 1. I hope you are getting this particular point. Again, I am repeating how exactly we made this 0 as 2, by borrowing one digit or by borrowing one number from this particular 2. Okay, from this particular 2, and the moment I say that I am borrowing one number from this particular 2, so I need to reduce it by 1. And what is 2 minus of 1? We all know 2 minus of 1 is 1. Okay, so your 2 got reduced to 1. I hope you are getting this particular point, and this 1 will remain as it is. No, you don't need to reduce this 1. Why? Because 1 is greater than 0. Okay, so now what is 2 minus of 1? 2 minus of 1 is 1. Great. What is 1 minus of 1? 1 minus of 1 is 0. What is 0 minus of 0? It is any which way 0. What is 1 minus of 0? It is 1. So this is the answer that we got. Okay, this is the answer which you got. So it's my request to you, calculate its decimal equivalent, and then subtract d1 minus of d2, whatever the number you will get, find its binary equivalent and then try to compare the binary equivalent with this one. You will get the same. Okay, let me erase this, let me erase all of the thing. Okay, this as well, and let me bring this particular thing little down. Okay, because whenever you will refer my PDF, there shouldn't be any doubt in your mind, like how exactly sir perform this particular calculation and all. Okay, great. Let me bring this as well little down, and let me bring this over here, just a second, and little down. Alright, so now we will perform this particular operation. So you can clearly see, again, at first attempt it might seem a little difficult, but believe me, it's quite simple. See, now we don't need to reduce this particular one. Why? Because the number present over here, it is greater than this particular number. So 1 minus of 0, it is 1. Great. 0 minus of 1, you cannot perform this particular operation. So the moment you see this particular 0, you need to make it as 2. And why you made it as 2? Because you borrowed one number from this particular digit, that is 1. Okay, what is 2 minus of 1? 2 minus of 1 is 1. Great. 0 minus of 0, it is any which way 0. 1 minus of 1, it is 0. And 1 minus of 0, it is 1. So this is the exact answer that we got. Okay, this is the exact answer that we got. Okay, again we will I will explain you. 1 minus of 0, so 1 minus of 0 is 1. 0 minus of 1, we cannot perform this operation, so we made 0 as 2. Okay, and the moment we made this particular 0 as 2, that means we are borrowing one digit from this particular number. That means we are making 1 as 1 as 0. That means we need to reduce 1 by 1. We need to reduce it by 1, so this would be 0, right? And 0 minus of 0 is 0, 1 minus of 1 is 0, and 1 minus of 0 is 1. So this is the answer that we got. Great. Okay, so I hope till now you understood each and everything, how to perform subtraction operation in case of decimal number system. Okay, that's the reason I taught you the decimal number system. The subtracting the numbers in the decimal number system, and then we applied the same logic. So if you could see very clearly, the logic and the concept is same. Instead of 9, if you could see, we are using 1, and instead of 10 we are using 2. So that's the reason I told you that number system is one of the simpler topic. Just the thing is that since as a human we are not that much well aware of the binary number system. Okay, we are not that much acquainted by playing with the binary number system. So at the very first attempt we find it little difficult, like what exactly is happening and why exactly we are facing so much of doubt. So this is what I had faced when I was a student as well. But since you are learning from me, so that's why I'm explaining this particular concept in detail way. I'm taking a lot of time, I know, to explain this particular concept, because there are certain reasons to go to learn this particular concept in that way only. Okay, if I directly, let's suppose if I actually just shown you this particular thing, and if I directly jump to this particular part, I make this 0 as 2, and if you want to borrow this particular number from this one, even this is 0, so make this 2 as 1. So then you might feel little difficult that what exactly is happening, I'm unable to understand. So that's why I taught you the decimal number system, like how to borrow numbers from one column to another, and in that particular process you need to reduce that particular number from 10. You need to reduce 10 by 1, that means you will get 9 over here. Okay, and then you need to borrow a number from in the next column. You need to give that particular borrow to the next column, right? This is what was happening, right? Okay, so this is how we used to perform subtraction operation in case of decimal. Then we actually link the same concept and the same logic in case of binary. Just the thing is that instead of 0, we used to replace 0 with 2 in case of binary. Okay, and this 9 will be replaced by 1. Okay, will be replaced by 1. Okay, but the overall concept and the idea remains the same. Okay, so I really hope that you understand how to perform subtraction operation in detail way, and in the next session we will solve this numerical. I know now if you are directly watching this particular numerical, you might feel it little difficult. Okay, so it's my request to you, please take the screenshot of this particular numerical, try to solve it on your own. If you are able to get the answer which I would be able to get, that's fine. If not, then don't worry, we will solve this particular numerical in the next session. Okay, so thank you for listening me patiently. I'm ending this video over here. Thank you.